So I just spent a little over an hour on the road coming back from this place called First Mondays in a little town called Canton. My wife wanted to go there, pick up some stuff. We brought the kids. It was cool. It's like this giant, like the world's largest flea market, and they have some cool shit, like antiques and wild stuff that you'd never believe. And so we bought some stuff, came home. But on the way home, I was thinking about some of the things just that people ask me, and I thought about yesterday. It was yesterday or the day before, where I said, if you're stuck somewhere in your life, most of the time, it was yesterday, it's a lack of knowledge problem and a lack of application problem. It's not anything else, except most of the time people start adding things into their life thinking that's going to help. That's never going to help. Like, most of the time you don't need to add something to your life. You don't need to add something to your workout. You don't need to add something to your marriage, to your workout, to your business. You don't need to add something to anything in your life. Usually the problem isn't that you need to add something, you need to take shit away. And a lot of the times it's stuff that you've picked up on the internet from some Insta guru or Insta coach or some book that you read partially. Most people don't even read past the first chapter of their book, but they start adding things into your life, saying if you do this 4-hour morning routine, if you start making your bed, if you start chanting these affirmations, if you do this in your marriage, if you run this type of Facebook ad, if you do this special workout, if you eat this magic fruit from the fucking Himalayas, all of those things are going to make your life better. But none of that's true. A lot of coaches online right now, they have their cute little programs and their 10-step success method, or their magic script, or their trauma that they've had to overcome that they never really have, that they've broken down into these phases for you and packaged up as some $10,000 a year program that's just bullshit that you should never buy. And I could actually name specific people who aren't earning a dime because of how they run their life like that. They come up with these reasons that they're not even doing themselves, because it's not usually a problem with adding things. They're doing all kinds of shit they shouldn't even be doing. A lot of times you add things into your life thinking the next thing is going to be the answer. The next coach, the next program, the next book, the next YouTube video, the next wife, the next husband, but you still have the last thing that you didn't finish. Like, how many steaks are you going to put on your plate before you finish the one that's on there? And it's getting dark right now, so I might have to pick this up inside because I didn't realize it's 6 o'clock. So on my way back from this First Mondays in this little town I told you called Canton here in Texas, it was just over an hour, and I started thinking about what a lot of my coaching clients are asking me. And it's often the same couple of questions, and a few of those are, what do I have to do to go from X to Y? What are the steps, Spartan? What are the steps I need to do? Because that's how we've been conditioned. Add this thing in and we'll have all the answers, with no intention of usually doing the steps anyway. And so I'll tell you right now, 99% of the time, I go through their life with this giant virtual trash bag and just start throwing out shit that they're hanging on to. Some blueprint they got from their last coach, some word track that they still aren't using that isn't going to work, some business idea that they've got bouncing around in their life that they think they're going to be a multi-billionaire with, which might be, but they're never going to act on it, or some tragedy that occurred in their life that they're clinging on to, going, this is why I'm not successful. It's fucking baggage and extra weight. And I realized, coming out of cancer, one of my problems was that I was just adding so much shit to my life, like bad habits, bad mindset, blame, validation, magic programs that I thought were going to help me, special secret methods of success that I'd see online, or I'd read in this book, or I'd watch a YouTube video or something, these relationship secrets that I thought were going to make my marriage even better. All of these limiting beliefs that I started to stack because when I woke up, I was fucking scared to do almost anything. All of the shit that I haven't handled in my life that I'm jacked into, and the biggest one were distractions, just pure bullshit. So in the last hour, I ran this through my head for you guys, like what needs to happen, and the delete buttons that a lot of you guys are just afraid to hit in your life. So I came up with a few. I don't remember how, like 4 or 5, 6 maybe, but I may add a few as I go through this. But and by the way, listen, if you're at this far already, I don't know how long I've been in this video, but thanks for following if you actually watch this. Thanks for sharing with people, because I come out here because I actually give a fucking shit about you guys. I want you to win, and I'm tired of seeing all the bullshit programs and coaches and everybody out there that thinks they know the best thing for you that they don't. So listen, by the way, all of you guys that haven't subscribed or shared this video or this vlog or my social media with your friends or anything, you haven't given me a thumbs up, do that. It matters to me. If I've earned it, if I've given you something that has helped you in your life at some point, I don't want it if I didn't earn it. But if I do, help me out, push me out into the public, because otherwise it's never going to be seen. And if you have the answer to a problem, it doesn't matter. It matters that somebody sees it that needs that answer. So help me help them, right? So the first thing I realized as I was driving was I needed to delete, like one of the things when I came out was I needed to delete living for the permission from other people. And in this point, it was doctors and people they thought they knew better about me. Like, fuck. And this is the one where most people will pipe up and say, bro, I don't need anybody's permission. That's not what I'm saying, man. Let me talk to your wife about your character, because I'm going to be pretty brutally honest. She's going to say, oh yeah, he always checks with me first. You don't need other people's permission. You don't need permission and I'm just talking strictly about men right now, but women as well. But and for all the women that like, I don't need a man's permission. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to go and boss people around or be some ignorant, selfish asshole who's all about themselves. I'm saying be a fucking leader for yourself, for your family, for your kids, for your wife. Like, my wife is as alpha as they get. She is a retired pro soccer player, like a pro athlete. She's strong mentally and physically. She doesn't need a damn thing. She knows how to run her life plenty without me. I lead my wife because I'm the man. I'm supposed to lead my wife. I lead my children. I'm the father. I'm supposed to lead my kids. I lead my team in all of our companies because that's what I'm supposed to do. And the way I do that is by showing them through how I conduct myself, how it should look like. Like, I'm the example, and if they don't match up with the way I'm conducting myself, if what they're doing isn't a better version, which it could be, I lead them. Here's what happens for me, or here's what happens for most people, most men. This is how they run their life. Oh, hey, what do you want for dinner? That's what their wife will say. I don't know. What do you want for dinner, sweetie? I don't know. You pick. No, you pick. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Fuck! What the fuck? Listen, how many times is that going to happen before your wife goes, what the fuck is wrong with this simp? Get offended. I get in the comments and just get all pissed off. I don't care. A lot of you guys try and label that as how you don't want to be controlling. I'm just trying to be open and help me, like, be open to and receptive to decisions. You're not leading. You need to be fucking leading. When we walk in all capacities, when we go for a walk at night, we walk for about a mile every night, a little more. And I will move my wife, if we're walking, no matter how we are, to the inside. If a car is coming up on either side, I will move her to the inside, make sure I'm on the outside, because I'm the protector. That's my job. When we walk by people, I will move her to the other side so they're on my side, not her side. When we go to buy something, I pull out the credit card. When we come and go, I open and close doors for her. When she asks me where, I choose. I fucking lead. How many times, like, you need to be a leader to yourself. When you make the decision to play the guessing game with what to do, you're going right back to regressing to being just this little fucking kid, being this little boy asking your mommy and daddy for permission to cross the street, or whether or not you can go to the corner store or take your bike or go knock on your friend's house, their door, go have a sleepover and all the other bullshit. That behavior carries over to your job, your kids, your parenting, your workouts, your conduct on social media. I see you guys everywhere. Like, I see you. And you begin to hunt for acceptance and approval because, well, you're training yourself to think that you need someone else to greenlight all of your decisions. You're also training everybody else around you to treat you that way. That you have to ask their permission. You have to ask them what to do. That they run your life. They control your direction. That they need to make the decisions. And that's not how this works. You need to make decisions and stand by them and lead yourself. Like Bedros says, leadership is always the problem and leadership is always the solution. He's right. The more you do that, the more powerful you become in how you conduct yourself, the more powerful you become in making decisions, creating income, building your business, building your marriage, building your parenting. And the more capable you become as a leader to the world. That's your job. Listen, we've got enough followers in this social media fucking nightmare. We need more leaders. It's getting dark in here, huh? I hope you guys can see me all right. I wonder if I can turn on the light in here. Let's see. I don't know if that helps. Anyway, the second thing that hit me was I was always trying to impress people in two capacities, right? And I'm going to come back to this because it's getting dark in here and you guys don't want to just hear this disembodied head in a car. All right, so I moved into my studio because it's a little easier. And so I'll finish this up in here. You're getting a close-up of me. I actually have this, my phone is resting on a pillow on my leg. I didn't even turn on the lights behind me, but turned on those, right? So I was thinking, I think I was the second thing, right? The second thing I was always doing, like, and all of this came after I went through cancer because I had to change my mindset. Otherwise, I was just going to run the same interference plays, the same issues in my life. So the second thing that hit me was I was always trying to impress people in two capacities, right? And it's people who aren't impressive to me because they've accomplished pretty much nothing, and other people in general. Neither one of those. Why would I think about working all my life for their approval? Like, why the fuck would I live my life to impress anyone other than me? I'm a servant of God. The person that I need to actually work to become better at is the version that he has already built for me. Like, there are always two versions of me running in my mind. There's little Trevor Bachmeyer, who's shit talking, making excuses, looking at what other people are doing, looking at what they have, looking at how they live their life, you know, what they look like if they're winning, and all the lies about whether they're winning or not, the private planes that they're standing in front of, or the stages that they're on, or the books that they wrote, or the cars that they're flexing, and, you know, all the reasons for me to stop doing something because I'm just too far down that mountain. I'm too afraid. I'm too insecure. That's the one version of me that runs in my head. And then there's the Spartan, and I've said this before. He's a badass motherfucker that God has already created, and he's got no excuses. He's relentless. He's ruthless with his time. He's relentless in his pursuit of greatness for himself to become a better servant. He's a servant of God. He's always seeking to upgrade himself for his future self, right? Like, think about what your future self is going to thank you for doing right now. He's kind, he's strong, he's helpful, loves to win. Why wouldn't you want to love to win? He refuses justification. He doesn't hang on to the past ever, and he never misses. God, some of you guys get real pissed off when I say that, huh? I never miss. I don't. I never miss. I haven't missed since I opened my eyes after surgery. So here's the piece of the blueprint that most people, and if this is all wobbly, sorry, but not sorry. Don't watch. I'm here for you. But the piece of the blueprint that most people miss, they fail to look at is, and first let me explain why they fail to look at it, is what most people do is they do some deep work, right? They cut out the bad food, they cut out the clown people in their life that are trying to screw them up even though they don't think so, they're clinging to them. They cut out the negative input, whether it's what they're watching, what they're reading, what they're consuming. They change their health, they fix their mindset, and all of the moving parts in their life. They do all of that. That's great. And because they think they're done. You're not done, man. You're not done. That was, what, 1 day, 1 week, 1 year? You're done when God says it's time to come home. What you've just created in doing all of this deep work, all of the hard things that you've had to do, building the body. That's why I tell people, a lot of you guys, get offended if you want, but a lot of you guys wouldn't be able to handle my life because you don't have the emotional maturity, the financial maturity, the physical maturity to do what I do because you haven't earned the position, so you don't have the psychology behind why I'm here. Just like if someone handed me a victory that I haven't earned, I would struggle probably to maintain it. All that you've done when you've done the deep work to get to this new point, it's not the finish line. All you've created is the new baseline for the next upgrade. Every day, and I've said this before, every day I take whatever it is I've done, everything I've done, everywhere I've won, everything that I've leveled up on, and I put it all in this big giant pile, and I turn that pile into the platform that tomorrow is built on. The victories of today become the standards of tomorrow. I have been doing that for 3.5 years. And a lot of you guys think it's this one and done, right? Honestly, it's this nonstop machine that's hungry for more levels, and they're endless. You're not going to hit level 99 and then you're done. It is 100, 120, 223. You just keep stacking levels, which is a good thing. If you're looking for relief for the upgrade, you don't really want the upgrade. You want the excuse to quit. Except most of the people, like, honestly, even think about that. Like, back up. The person that you're trying to feed all the time, it's not your reflection. You're trying to feed all these people out in the public with what you post, what you say, how you conduct yourself, which is all a representative. It's not even you. They're the ones who don't even fucking know you. There's a bunch of people on social media or some stranger at a stoplight or a gas station that gets all fucking creamy about your car. Your fucking mother-in-law who you think you have to impress. Whoever. None of that matters. The point is, it's everybody else but you. So when you try and feed, it's a monster because it's perpetually hungry and the appetite gets bigger and it's never satiated. Because it's not you, and the person that gets hurt the most is you. So when you try and feed and impress everybody else, you end up hating the reflection you see in the mirror. I always have to keep looking to figure out where the camera light is on here. It's right over here, I think. Like, the guys that are renting, you guys, if this is you, I hope this triggers the shit out of you. Get in the comments and get pissed off. Like, I got pinks for everything I own. This is like, I own all my shit. You guys renting Lambos and standing in front of jets at the right angle so it looks like it's yours. You're showing some like just flooded Rolex or crazy jewelry or just this like some rented girl, some fucking hoe that you borrowed because you're not even married because no girl wants anything to do with you. You like all this, you're talking about how much money you made, all the thousands of people you've helped, all the shit that you have accomplished that you've never really accomplished, or the person that you've rebuilt that you haven't even rebuilt yet. All of this stuff, you make this list of who you wish you were that you're not because you think that's what the public needs. That's what you think. Like, these low-level motherfuckers are the ones they see this, but it's all a bunch of superficial garbage. And you think that their opinion has any merit, any value. They've never accomplished anything. And you go, I'm in this great life. I'm kicking ass and taking names and all these people like me. How many of them have listened to your advice, done your program, bought your program, subscribed to your narrative, or even think about you when that screen goes off other than just to point their finger at you and go, God, I'm glad I'm not that guy. Rather, like I was just a minute ago, I was in a kick-ass Porsche. I was in a kick-ass Porsche filming this, but it ain't to impress anybody but me. I got another 3 of them in my garage. The people you are trying to flex for don't fucking care about you at all. And if that's someone in your life, you need to reevaluate their position in your world, man. It's okay, cut them loose. Who do you need to become in order to have the next year's version of you? The next year's version of you say, oh, damn, you hooked me the fuck up, man. Like, would that involve you starting the business and actually doing it, not planning it? Would it involve you reading the book, writing the book, changing your health, changing your fitness, starting the relationship, ending the relationship, going to church, connecting with God would be a great start. Who do you need to become in order to hook up next year's version of you? That's the person you need to be working at all the time. Like, who do you need to, that's who you need to flex for. You're flexing for the wrong people. I post my car once in a while because I like my car, but it ain't to flex for people. It's because I like my damn car and it shows the product, the outcome of hard work. If that made you sick, I don't care. Just listen. The next thing is to clean your house, man. Seriously, clean your house. Look at your house. This is the hardest thing for most people because they equate time served with value acquired or given. And when I say clean your house, I mean all the people around you in your life, all of them. Weak people are weak people. And I don't care if you are Brian fucking Phelps. You cannot swim very long at all with a bunch of anchors and weights around your legs. Weak people are anchors. They will fuck you so bad. And most of you guys just sit there and go, you know what? Give me the ball gag, lube it up, and get to work. I'll take the fucking. Weak people call you in perpetual crisis. They've always got a problem. I had a client like this. Fuck, I'm so glad that this client doesn't exist anymore because she was just nothing but a pain in the ass because it was always a perpetual crisis with never a solution. These people, and when you give there's nothing more insulting when someone asks for help, you give them the help and they go, cool, I'll do it. They don't do it and they go back to complaining about their problem and they call you again. That's what weak people do because they don't want the solution They want you to make them feel better for where they are so they can stay there. Weak people call you in these perpetual crises in order to complain about their situation. And when you give them the solution, either apply it for a week, 2 weeks, ignore it altogether, or argue against it, providing all these validations as to why they can't, because it's not exactly what they want. What they wanted was an easier solution that is not going to allow them to change or force them to change. It's going to allow them to stay where they are, rather. Weak people are emotional. They complain about their spouses. They complain about their business. They complain about their fitness, their life, their shoes, their house, and they give even more reasons why, like, they want you to give affirmations, and they give you reasons why you should affirm where they are because they're just not quite where you are yet. So you should just listen and be that sounding board. Don't hang around with people like that. Weak people gossip. They're always either doing more than you or they're doing less than you, depending on what side of the equation it is and how it helps them look better and more like a victim. They're always doing something that absolves them of what they know they should be doing, where they know they should be headed, and the decisions they need to be making. And if weak people leave you feeling drained, like you feel just like the life just got sucked. My wife always knows when I've engaged with somebody that's a weak person, and I do my utmost. I just don't engage with people like that anymore. Even you guys that engage and get into flame wars with your haters online, what are you doing? What are you doing? Weak people leave you feeling sick and drained and just trashed because they use you as their emotional dumping ground for this baggage. But they do it under this umbrella of, I just really need to talk. Thanks, bro. Thanks, coach. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But they don't do anything. All that's fine. Listen, all of that's fine, except when it is always either this, it's not always either. When it's the same fucking problem with a slightly different face, with a slightly different color. It's like a turd is still a turd no matter how many times you cover it with gold or sprinkles or anything else. It's a fucking turd. So they show up with the same, a variation of the same problem that you have already provided a solution for, because they want you to just listen and then go, you're good. Despite they will never apply the solution. You know how draining that is? It's like you feel like you just got the shit beat out of you after you've been around them. Ask yourself these questions. Who is part of your time, your money, and your energy? That's what you need to go. Who in your life right now is part of those three things? Who is part of your time, who is part of your money, and who is part of your energy? Are they leaving you hungrier for more after any interaction with them? Like, are you like, fuck, I'm charged up, I'm ready to go? Are they leaving you better at the end of the interaction than you showed up into the interaction with? You know, are you spending time with them out of courtesy because you've known them a really long time? Or are you always the one that's giving your energy and you feel just like they're emotional fucking vampires sucking your time, costing you money, and bleeding you out of the life that you have, that you only get one shot? You guys understand that, right? You get one shot to be here. You need to be a miser with your time, your money, and your energy output all the time. Weak people will gaslight you. They'll guilt trip you. They're going to occupy all of your time if they can. And then they'll blubber all over you about, like, it's very frustrating because I've dealt with these people a ton of times, and they'll try and make you feel guilty for it, but they'll blubber all over you that you saved them and they couldn't have done any of this in their life and they would have been screwed without you. And then they never handle it and they go right back to doing the same damn things that they've always been doing, and they'll come back presenting the same problem. Look at your life. I guarantee you, if these people are in your life, they are energy and emotion and finance vampires. They wanted emotional permission, which you give them by allowing them to run their weak input into your life on repeat. I think another thing, and I'm going over these in my head, another thing is the big lies that you keep clinging to in your life, your story. Like, fuck, this one irritates me actually, because it would be so easy for me to lean on cancer and go, well, that's why I'm not where I want to be yet, because I'm not where I want to be yet. Has nothing to do with cancer. Has to do with me. But it would be so easy for me to lean on cancer, to lean on missing a lung, to lean on the massive list of potential setbacks that are going to show up in my future if I think that. The future catastrophes that have never happened yet. My life, I've said it before, is full of all kinds of things that have never happened yet. And notice I said things, not good, not bad, just things. However, what most people do is they obsess on these potential catastrophic events. They play safe and they validate that that's what I'm doing prevention. That's playing safe. You're not doing it. You're fucking up your life and you're bracing yourself for an impact that's inevitably going to occur now because you manifest it and bring it to fruition because of what you do. Imaginary problems have no cure. So all you're going to do is keep running this cycle over and over again of, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this is bad? What if that's bad? I don't know if I can handle that. Like, I know people who hate their life and they talk about what they want and they make this giant, long-winded plan, like a thesis for a fucking PhD, and they refuse to execute because they don't want to be disappointed. They spend their life in paranoid delusion about future situations that they're just not happening right now. Why are you thinking about them? That's not prevention, by the way. That's stupidity and ignorance to the one life that you're given. The last thing I think that people need to do is, looking at their life, is stop being the person that's watching your life. Stop watching your life helplessly, thinking that it's just going to bob along in front of you and you just get to watch it through a fucking screen. Because all that happens when you watch your own life, I'll tell you, and I know that this is gonna rattle some people. Well, you don't understand. I don't have the same life as you. I ain't lucky. I put myself here. But all that happens when you watch your life and think that you are helplessly bouncing along because you don't want to work, you do want to work. Your husband didn't lend you the money, the wife didn't lend you the money, you didn't get the car you wanted, you don't get to relax, and that's a ridiculous thing on another topic. You don't have the life you want and you think you're helpless to change it, and all you do is get up every morning, open your eyes to a movie that you can't stand, getting angrier and angrier, thinking that it's their fault, it's her fault, it's his fault, it's that person's fault, it's what happened to me, it's that fault. You're always watching a movie that you can't stand, coming up with reasons why you can't change the fucking channel and you're not the one writing the script. Listen, here's what you want to do. You want to get to the end of your life and God says, you did it. Like, you fucking ran it up, man. You ran it up for your entire life. You did everything you wanted to. You served as many people as possible. You guided as many people as you could to me. You helped as many people. You solved as many problems. You handled every fucking obstacle I gave you to make you stronger, more resilient, more successful, and learn all the lessons required to sustain and maintain that new position. And you ran that on repeat over and over and over again. You're either watching and getting more pissed off, or you're the one handling business. You're pointing at the camera, like this is pointed at me. You're pointing the camera at anything you want. So you decide whether you point it at yourself and what you're going to accomplish and do and how many people you're going to help, or you're going to point at what everybody else has, wishing that you had that. Like, my parents wanted me to go to college. I would take that time back any day. College is the biggest fucking waste of time. My parents wanted me to go to college. My parents wanted me to get straight A's. They'd make me sit at the kitchen table and run 30-page projects for school in like the 5th fucking grade. My parents wanted me to play soccer. I hated soccer. I married a pro athlete soccer player who's badass. I hated soccer. I wanted to fight. I wanted to play hockey. I wanted to race dirt bikes. I wanted to race snowmobiles. I wanted to do all kinds of things. My parents, as good as they were, and they gave me a lot, like my dad specifically gave me a kick-ass work ethic. You're done when the job is done. You're not done when it's 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. You're done when the job is done. It could be 2 a.m. It doesn't matter. You're done when the job is done. That's what my dad gave me. It was badass. And I've carried that into my entire life on everything I do. And it's almost second nature now. Actually, it is second nature. But my parents, as good as they were, never gave me the openings in my life to become who and what I truly wanted to be. That all came after I moved out. They locked me in a box and told me what they wanted my life to look like, which means they were the narrator. They were the writers of my life. They were the film crew, the producer, the writer, everything. And I was just the bystander that had to move around. I was an NPC that they wrote the program and just let me go as long as I stayed in the confines of the program. I lived their life. And I see people doing that in their marriages, in their businesses. I see careers that people spend 40 years in. 40 years hating every day they get up, every lunch they eat, every day they drive home, hating their boss, what they do. They hate everything about it and validating that they have to pay their fucking bills. And not everyone is as fortunate as I am to be able to do what I want for a living. Listen, 3.5 years ago, I started with nothing. Nothing. I'll say that again. I started with nothing. Nothing. And I'm not out here mad. Like, you guys take this the wrong way sometimes. You're like, oh, listen to this guy. He's all pissed off. I'm not pissed off. I'm out here because I fucking care. And I'm trying to give you all of the things that I had to struggle through, that I had to learn, that I had to suffer through, so you don't have to, and you can time collapse your entire life. This is what I do in my coaching program, my 1-year coaching program. We sit down and we spend hours together picking apart your life, your business, your marriage, your fitness, your life, and we poke holes in every fucking thing you've got until all you're doing is hemorrhaging all your lies and excuses, and then we start getting to work and plugging them all up with the truth until you get to where you want to be. We build $20 million, $200 million companies. We fix marriages that are on their last fucking leg. We change fitness with people that have cancer, diabetes, all kinds of problems, so it's gone. But that's because I demand standards and I won't waver on them at all. And I go through all of this stuff in much greater detail because I want you to win. But I'm not a coach. I'm the guy that goes, you listen to me, you'll get everything you want. You don't, then enjoy all your excuses and validations. But in all the people that I've helped, all the consulting I've done, all the coaching I've done, all the videos I've done, 31 days into January, and I've learned a ton about myself and what I actually do and how good I am at it. But I look at all of the things and I put them together in a nice, easy to follow blueprint. It's not simple to execute. It's easy to follow. It's a ton of work. But listen, all of this stuff, like if you focus on running your script, your plays, your blueprint, and every time you get new knowledge, remember, new knowledge and new application. That's how you get further. But to get new knowledge, the acquisition of knowledge isn't the problem. The information isn't the problem. It's as easy to get as opening up your phone, going on this computer here, that one over there, going in the house, reading a fucking book. But you guys go, I have it, so I don't need to read it. I'll read it later, and later never happens. Next thing you know, you're 55, 60 years old going, I should have done it. The reason people call me to help them out of a crisis is because they've seen me do it, and I have posted from day one from the hospital up until today, January 31st, 2025, and I've never missed. With all the shit talk, all these things right now that I'm talking about, all the people that wanted me to try and impress them, all the excuses that I made, all the me being a follower instead of a leader, all of the things that I'm talking about in this video, these are the things that will change your life. So listen, if you stop watching your fucking movie, write it, whatever it is. But stop thinking you have to live somebody else's life because that's going to make you a better person or it's what good people do. Stop thinking that not being rich as fuck is like, stop thinking that being rich is a bad thing. Stop thinking that being broke and poor and impoverished and having a scarcity mindset is noble and righteous. It's not. Stop thinking that, you know what, sex just has to be missionary position with the lights off and real quiet. Stop hooking up on porn and going off in a fucking closet and rubbing one out and wishing that that's the relationship you had with your spouse. Maybe if you actually found somebody that you just dump all you've got into. I told you I would add more. That you dump everything you've got into. And they do the same, and you give them trust and vulnerability. You give them all the tools in the shed to just utterly annihilate your life. And they do the same. All that nasty shit that you watch that you wish you would be able to do in your house, in your bedroom, that person wants to do all that stuff with you because they trust you and they love you and you trust them and you love them. They don't think you're sneaking off, rubbing one out in the corner. All the money that you want, when you want something so badly and you have a big enough why to do it, the how just shows up like it's like a conveyor belt. Here's how, that didn't work. Here's another how. That didn't work. Here's another how. That didn't work until you get it. But you have to focus on removing all of the crosses that you're carrying for no reason, all of the weights you're swimming around with, the people in your life that you need to delete the fuck out, the things you need to do. You listen to this video of all the videos I've done. Listen, if you focus on hitting the delete button on all the things in your life, starting with all of the things that I talked about, all of this stuff, you're going to be blown away at how epic your life starts to become because you're going to have room for the growth that you keep stifling and smothering because you keep filling your day with more things that you think are going to help you get further, when in fact what you're doing is causing perpetual problems and just coming up with more validations, more excuses, more reasons, and living this future catastrophe that never occurs. And when it finally does, the mountain is so fucking big you can't climb it and you're crippled by failure. That's it, man. Listen, it's 6:30. I'm hungry. It's date night. I gotta go.